We've all been affected by the dreaded coronavirus, and we all want that happy balance between being safe for ourselves and others and enjoying the much-needed leisure time, like a visit to the pub. But government quite rightly wants to ensure that, as lockdown is eased, controls are in place to contain any virus eruption. So you'll know that hospitality businesses in particular have to keep records of customers for 21 days to enable easier track and trace. Now, that sounds like another burden for businesses already COVID coshed. But to the rescue has come two Bournemouth UK-based entrepreneurs who've created the app Play It Safe. And today we're going to meet one of the two in this Of the Moment Meet the Leader interview. Welcome, Justin Smith.
Hi, Malcolm. Great to be here.
It's lovely to see you. Right, now, so let's get into the questions, should we? Let's imagine that you and I are standing in, ready for that longed for pint in front of us. It's a little bit like ice cold in Alex, this, isn't it? We're leaning on the bar of your favourite local. Tell us what a Play It Safe app does for a business like that pub. Is it letting them compete with the bigger chains, for example, who have their own apps?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one, that, because I'm not sure any or many customers are going to come just specifically for the app. So I'm not sure. There's a sort of marketing advantage, I suppose, in a way, if you can publicize that you are tracing people and that you're doing your bit to make the lockdown easier for a start and to keep people safe. I think that can be seen as an advantage from a marketing point of view. But I think where we come in, it's the cost, really. There's no startup cost. There's no sign up to use this system that we've created, and really the other good thing is that the punters do all the work. So they're the ones who are keying in their details very, very quickly on an app. It takes, well, it's not even an app actually. We call it an app because it makes it easier for people to understand. It's just really using the browser of your phone.
Okay.
So it does make it really easy. So I guess it saves staff time. For example, if you've got to try and trace around and write people's names down on something, or walk around with a iPad or something trying to get people's data, or then you've got to rely on people to pick up a pen and fill their own thing in. I mean, you've got issues with safety. How many people have touched this pen? Not good. So what it does, it makes it really, really simple. So we believe it's going to help take up as well. So that's massively important that we get the maximum.
I can just imagine that pub trying to read somebody's handwriting afterwards. So what sparked you and Tim to decide to create the app? Where did you see the opportunity?
Yeah, well, Tim's the creator of it's a system a little bit like Eventbrite in a way, but it was designed to be a bit cheaper and easy to use. And he thought, well, he's been using this ticketing system to help shops open. So, for example, if you wanted to book tickets or book tickets for people to come to your shop at every 10-minute intervals, for example, he started doing that, and it was his idea, not mine. And I'm supposed to be the creative one, but no, whatever. He's a techie geek, but he seemed and he likes to drink. Actually, his family are part of Horn Woodhouse, so he's in there. So pubs are his game. Yeah. And I think he just thought, well, actually, let's see if I can adapt it fairly quickly as well, actually, to be able to use it for pubs. So it seemed like a good plan. And when he mentioned it to me, because we'd worked together on a number of things in the past, I thought, well, actually, that sounds like a pretty good plan. I've got the sort of the design and the marketing side of things, and he's got the coding and security side of things. So it's a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I quite agree. But let's just go back to that incredibly affordable, even to the most cash-strapped hospitality outlet. So just tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, well, we sort of struggled on what to charge for it, because we're not really looking to make millions out of it, and we never will. We might, if we're lucky, cover the PR and marketing costs if we're lucky. But it was kind of like, well, what do you charge? It's got to be cheap. So we thought, well, the best thing to do really is to do it by sign up. maybe that doesn't encourage the bars to get as many people to sign up as possible, but at 2p per hit,
Wow.
it's never going to break the bank. So if you've got 100 people who sign into a cafe for the day, it's cost you £2.
Right.
It's pretty cheap. If you think the first slurp of your pint is probably about 1 or 2p, it's probably cheaper up in Northumberland maybe, but
Yes.
your first sip of your beer and that's it, your customers paid for, and they're going to be there for 2 or 3 pints probably. So it really is phenomenally cheap. So hence why we're trying to get a decent number of outlets take it up, because obviously that means we can recoup our sort of outgoings a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I just love that. That's a very sensible pricing. Congratulations. So how will the app help people keep safe, even if there's a likely second wave of coronavirus?
Well, I think if there's a second wave, then all the pubs and everybody are going to be shut again. And I don't think anybody wants that. I certainly don't want that. And so I think it's incumbent on all pubs and everybody to do what they can. Hence an app like this. But the way it keeps you safe is that if we can record everybody that comes into a pub by day and the time that they arrive and all of that sort of stuff, if somebody comes down with it and they get tested and test and trace, NHS test and trace, pick them up, they obviously then need to contact, you were in that pub at 8:30 on Friday night, and they can contact the pub. The pub can look up their data and they can find everybody who was in the pub from 8:30 till however long NHS test and trace. They may say, you need to give it another couple of days in case there's any residual bug knocking around the place. But it means that they can download the data for that specific period, send that to test and trace, and their job is done. They've been compliant with NHS test and trace and GDPR, and that is then up to test and trace to do it. Whether test and trace is any good is another thing. But the pubs, we've got to do our bit. So that's the plan. We get the pubs doing their bit, and then it's over to the government to sort their bit out.
Yeah, I'll have to come down to Southbourne and we'll do a pub crawl just to test it, of course, Okay.
There's quite a few good pubs in Southbourne.
Yes, I know that. I know.
We welcome you.
I know. So tell us how it works, but in simple terms, please. Take me through what a typical family coming to a pub for a meal would have to do and when.
Sure, I could give you a demonstration, but I'm not sure that'll work brilliantly on Zoom. But if I'm if I'm a family of, say, 4 people, we don't all need 4 different phones. We can do it all on one phone if we want to. And what happens when a pub or cafe or restaurant signs up, they add a picture, they add their name, they add some credit card details, and they hit go. They're then able to download a poster. So a poster that may look something like that. Okay, so you can see on this poster, you've got a very long app, a long title there, a long URL link, or you've got this QR code. So if you use the camera on your phone, point it at a QR code, it says, do you want to visit this website? So you hit yes, and that automatically takes you to that link, which saves an awful lot of thumb pressing. And once you're in there, then you confirm, yes, that's the pub that I'm supposed to be in. So you hit enter. And then all you do is you put your name, your email address, your phone number, hit enter. And that is one person in. If you want to do it again, you just hit the add another, and it just duplicates the data, and then you can change the names, and boom, 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 you're in. And you can get, if you're all going with 4 people and all largely using the same phone number and email address, which a lot of families do, then you could actually get an entire family of 4 in within a minute, I should think.
Wow. Yeah, that's important because people like me or older people like me who have got podgy fingers. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that good on using my phone.
Yeah. There are ways to mitigate that. I'm not entirely sure because this is a developing process. Our app, we've got it out on sort of the minimum viable product kind of thing. So we've got that out just to get it live as quickly as possible. But we are thinking of adding a few other things. One of them being a cookie that's stored on your phone. which we can't access. But what it does is, what it would do, it would store the last entry that you put in there. So if you go to this pub more than once, perhaps, shall we say, and you go in, you click you scan your phone in again, hey presto, it's there, and it's already got your details in it, and you can just hit go. So that's one good way around it. I guess the other thing is, if you're going with your family, then give it to the 8-year-old. And he'll get it in there really quick. But you can't totally get away from the sometime thing.
Yeah, I understand.
But that said, there are ways of getting the input fields, the name and those fields, to automatically pick up stuff that is on your phone already. There is ways of doing that. I'm not entirely sure whether we've done that yet, but it's another thing we could look at to save, because that's sort of standard information that is on your phone. It just pops straight into those standard fields. You just look at it, check it, hit go, and off you go.
Excellent. Yes. Well, I like the fact there's evolution. Okay, so now I understand the need for the data or data, but I'm worried about my data security. So how can you firmly reassure me on the safety of that data? After all, you've developed it quickly. Is it robust?
Yes. Well, because it was developed as an evolution of Tim's Happy Tickets application.
Right.
We've got all the same security that employs. So Tim's already spent many, many months working on security on the Happy Tickets application. So we're just using the same security there. So it's fully encrypted, stored on European databases, which is very good. Very European secure databases in Europe, so they're very sort of strict on the way that they work, I think, that's the data security side. So it's end-to-end encryption, and it's stored in an encrypted database.
Excellent. Okay. Oh, is this an app that's okay for the moment, or do you see it having longer term use with maybe enhancements? I personally think it can help the independent hospitality businesses, who I know a lot about, enormously, and the smaller groups who are having to compete with the bigger change. Or am I off track and it's solely for the COVID time?
I think this particular iteration is solely for COVID, and for a couple of reasons. There's the automatic deletion of data. So part of the guidelines for COVID and part of GDPR is you tell people what the data's for and you stick to it. Okay, so to maximize take up, a lot of people don't like giving their data for marketing purposes, for example. A lot of people don't like giving their data to government for full stop. So you've got those two things. So we've mitigated all that, and we've said, pubs, you're not allowed to use this for marketing purposes, and data will be automatically deleted by us, not them, after 21 days. So it's got a sort of rolling deletion program. It happens every day. It knocks off the last day and keeps going, keeps rolling data for 21 days. So from that point of view, it's very specific, but it's quite a flexible system. So we could change it quite easily to adapt it to other uses. For example, collecting data for marketing purposes, or competitions, for example, or information and awareness. But then again, QR codes are very good for that anyway. So part of the clever part of our system is that it does generate the QR codes. If a company with a website, say, wants to put up a QR code like this one on their wall, for example, they've got to go away, they've got to find the QR code generator, they've got to type in the URL, get it, and then somehow package that into something like a poster to then promote, I don't know, bingo evening or something, I don't know. Whereas our system does do that automatically. So I think there's legs in the system for it to be adapted later. And I'll be very, very interested to hear from any of your viewers if they think, what they think, if they think it could be adaptable.
I can see the opportunity to anonymize the data, to be able to give a venue some sort of marketing data that it's not used to. Many's the time I go into them, I ask them about typical makeup of persona of the customers, and they can't really give it to me. apart from anecdotal. And then I can see, obviously, quite rightly say, using QR, we have a number of visitor centres that we work with who use QR codes to do reputation management. So, give customer feedback. Okay, so you and Tim must be very proud of how quickly you've developed this great app. How quickly can a business implement it? Is it complicated for them to do, even if they're non-techie?
Well, I think within 5 minutes of watching this video, you could be online and set up. Yeah. Probably even probably printed out with a poster on the wall, I would imagine. It is phenomenally simple. We've kept the data that we need from pubs and restaurants and cafes to a minimum. So really, they've just got to give a name, an email address, an office address. That's kind of the minimum data that they have to give us. They then have to create a location. So that would be a pub, for example, or a cafe. If you've got more than one pub, you can add extras. You can add quite a few. So that works very well. But obviously, the more locations you've got, the longer it's going to take. And then all you do is upload a picture. So you put your pub name, so the White Bear, for example. You can put the pub name and location into this title part of the poster, and then you just need a picture. So you could nick it off your website or take a picture on your phone, pop that in, upload it, and basically you are live. It's that quick. We do need the credit card details, but you don't have to do that straight away. You can do that whenever you like, but there is a little note saying encourage the pub to put in their credit card details if you don't put it in that quickly. But yeah, realistically, it's as long as it takes you to just fill in a few forms, upload a picture, bang, and it's in. It's very, very quick.
Excellent. So there's a business person watching or listening and saying, that sounds ideal for my business. How does he or she go about getting it and telling his or her customers? After all, it's not just about getting the app, isn't it? It's about getting customers to use it.
I think it's vital for the customer and for the business. For them to use it or to use something like it. That they've got many options. Like I say, we could write stuff on bits of paper, or I've even heard of one place where they say, just fill in a card and chuck it in a bin, stuff like this, but nobody's using them. So you've got to get people to take it up. So by creating the posters, that's one thing. And so quite often there's going to be queues for people to come into the pub. So let's stick some posters around the queues. We can put the posters on the tables. If they're feeling creative, they could make them into bar mats or something, like beer mats. But you just got to get these posters out. You can copy and you could get your designer to make something a little bit more attractive than that if you want to as well. You can just copy and paste all the bits and pieces out of the PDF. If you're a designer, you know how to do that sort of stuff. So I think you've got all that, but then do like I've seen a number of our clients are doing. They're using it as promotion, so they're publicizing it. So they're getting on their Facebook pages and their Instagrams and whatever, and they're showing pictures of posters, and they're showing pictures of people with the app saying, "Come and join us. We're trying to be as safe as we can. We've got you covered." So use it as a marketing opportunity as much as anything else.
Excellent. Yeah. Justin, just before we finish, please leave everyone with 3 clear messages about the value of Play It Safe to a business and its customers.
Sure. I think number one, data security, probably the most important thing. Data has to be ICO compliant, the Information Commissioner's Office compliant. It's got to be GDPR compliant. It's got to be deleted after 21 days. We've got all that covered on there, so you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I think as well, it's free to set up. You can test it, see how it goes. So free, takes 5 minutes, done. And the other thing is your customers are doing it all for you, and it's really easy. So they can do it while they're queuing, they can do it while they're sitting waiting for their food to arrive. However, doesn't matter. But it's quick, it's fast, and it's cheap, and it's compliant.
Excellent. Justin Smith at Play It Safe. I think you and Tim have done a great job. Very fast, very robust, and ideal to help particularly the smaller COVID coshed businesses get themselves up, get them customers back in again. Thanks for the interview.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And thank you as well. I think you're doing a marvellous job with this.